Good afternoon, everyone. Dia dit. Kidmila Fáilte, go Cahar Fort Lauriga. Well, good afternoon and welcome to my hometown of Waterford, which is on the southeast coast of Ireland. Now, just in case some of you guys started panicking, no, I haven't left Belarus for good. I'm just back in my hometown for a couple of weeks. And as you can see behind me here, my city is quite historic because it was founded by the Vikings in the late 10th century, and then it was expanded by the Normans who came here in 1169, and they built these absolutely fantastic medieval walls. If you ever come to my hometown, you will see a lot of architecture and influences from the Vikings, the Normans, the English, and even the French Huguenots. So join me as I take you on a trip around my hometown. Why not? You might meet a few characters along the way. Okay, let's go. Lanaraiga car. Just let me show you something here, guys. So where I am right now is that I am on Barracks Street, Waterford. And the reason this is called Barracks Street is because there were two army barracks here, the British Army, of course. There was the artillery barracks over there and the main one here. So about 30 years ago, when I was a teenager, I came here to enlist in the army. So I walked through this entrance here, and as I walked through this entrance here, I was met in the main courtyard by a commanding officer, and we still have some of the housing that the soldiers were kept in here, some of the older buildings. And he told me to come back in a week, or he would call me in a week. And of course the call never came, and that was the extent of my army career in the Irish Army. There you go. So yeah, it used to be the main, first of all was the British Army, and then became the Irish Army barracks. And now it is no longer. Speaking of the military barracks, guys, that I visited, so just around the corner here is a plaque that commemorates a very tragic event that took place here during the Irish Civil War back in 1923. And two volunteers, IRA anti-treaty volunteers, were executed here on the 25th of January 1923. And to this day, just over a century later, people come on every Easter Sunday morning and commemorate the lives of the two young men who were executed here, Patrick O'Reilly and Michael Fitzgerald, both of Youghal in County Cork. Ar yeiste go raibh anam. Well, it appears we've had a bit of an incident just across the road here. And we have ambulances, fire brigades here. Incredible. Waterford is never without any kind of an incident, guys. What happened here?
I'm your subscriber.
Oh, I've met a subscriber.
I'm your subscriber.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Anyway, what's your name?
I can't believe it, Jared.
Oh, all right, boy. What happened here anyway? What happened?
A fire.
A fire inside here, yeah?
I'm your subscriber.
Ah, subscriber, yeah. What a coincidence, huh?
I like all your videos.
Yeah.
Catene. You were in Catene.
I was in Catene as well. Catene, yeah.
Belarus.
Belarus,
You're big into Minsk. Our daughter's working in Minsk.
Yeah.
She says, I went to De La Salle. Did you go to De La Salle?
I did. I went to De La Salle, I did, yeah.
Oh, you're younger than me, and your friend's Bald and Bankropt. He made a good one there.
Mr. Bold, yeah, my good friend. Yeah, my good friend. So we've had a bit of an incident, a fire inside.
So come on, make your video, and I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right, no worries anyway, no worries. Let's go across the road.
Small world.
Small world, huh? Oh. Oh, we've fire brigades here, everything. So what happened inside here? What happened inside?
It's over there.
Over there, yeah?
If you go over the other side, you can see it. It's the bottom floor.
So there was a fire inside?
Yeah, it's still going.
Ah. Is there anybody inside?
No.
No? Oh. Holy moly. Check that out, guys. We got a fire inside the building on the ground floor. Yeah. Garda here, fire brigade. So nobody's inside. It's vacant, but there are people above, residential office units as well. Well, you make a video about Waterford, you get a fire, and you meet one of your subscribers. That's incredible. So yeah, we got the cops here. The roadblock. Yeah, lots happening, guys. And it's only an average Thursday afternoon here at Waterford. Well, one thing you notice about the difference between Belarus and in Ireland, a lot of people here just jaywalk. Whereas if you're in Minsk or in Gomel, any city in Belarus, people obey the traffic laws. Where we are right now, guys, we're here in John Street. This is the main nightlife hub of Waterford City. So we got Sinnott's, we got Factory, behind that, Mason's. Well, we got plenty of fast food joints. The Istanbul, get your kebabs, takeaway, Felix in Asian takeaway. Yeah. And just up here, we have what is known as the Apple Market. And the reason why they call the Apple Market is because, well, there used to be an apple market there. That's why, many years ago. All right, let's move on. Let's get off the road. And just across there, it's the place where I used to go and get my hair cut with Larry Hogan. Unfortunately, he's closed today. No, I'm not going to put you in jail, no. I'm not going to put you in jail anyway. So I'm inside. This is a very, very famous butcher shop here in Waterford. Tell us a bit about yourself and about this shop.
Yeah. Joe Widget's butcher shop.
Yeah.
Butcher shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here since I'm 13. I'm here for 53 years.
A long time.
We sell all the offal and all the old-fashioned meats, like the chucks.
Yeah.
And the tails and all that kind of stuff.
Pig's tails.
Pig's tails and pig's chucks as well.
Yeah.
And then the tripe and the machine. That's all. They're old-fashioned dinners. Like people got like in the tough times, they were cheap dinners. Like they all got them, like you know. Mm-hmm. But now it's all different. Now, like there's more modern. Now we're selling 3 steaks for €10, and the burgers are 80 cents each. Like you know, years ago we didn't sell them things, but we're selling them now. Like they're getting on great, you know. So,
yeah.
And we've been getting into pork lately because all the new generations are all coming.
I like my pork o'clock.
All the like different countries coming over. They
yeah.
The pork and the pork belly and all then the pork shanks.
Mm-hmm.
The €6 each and the oxtails. They all different countries coming in. They all buying them things. Like,
I used to actually come in here when I was living in Waterford.
yeah.
I used to come in here and I used to always buy liver.
Lamb's liver, yeah.
Lamb's liver is the best. Great source of iron.
Buy the lamb's liver. The Nigerians now and the Ukrainians, they'd be going for beef liver. Like they'd
yeah.
For that. They wouldn't be going for lamb at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they'd be going for. Like you know. So Irish people were always lambs. The softer the better.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's great. It's great to have family-run businesses. A lot more personal.
3 or 4 left. Like family-run business.
Yeah.
Great to have.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Nice to talk to you. talk to you.
Nice.
Take care. Jimmy is my name.
Jimmy, I'm Niall. Take care, all the best.
Well, that's it. Send us someone nice and you did.
Well, it's great to have it, guys. Small family-run shops. We're on Michael Street. Some of the local businesses. The main shopping street here in Waterford City. Yeah. Let's move on, guys. That is a very, very famous cake shop, William Greer. Running for the last 140 years at least. All right. That is the Fresh Food Deli, Fresh Food Hall. I know the guy in there, Dave. Might go in and have a chat with him later on. As I mentioned, guys, earlier, Waterford has been shaped by many, many events, many peoples who've come here and passed through. The Northmen, the Danes, the Swedes, the French, the English, and so on. And they all left their mark on this city as such. Where I am right now, guys, is that I'm in a place called Lady Lane. And the reason why it was called Lady Lane is because many years ago, there used to be refuge for women here. And this building right in front of me, guys, is the Franciscan Friary, and was built in the early 19th century, because as you know, Waterford used to have many different churches and cathedrals down through the years. But unfortunately, a certain guy called King Henry VIII, who lopped off 4 of his wife's 6 heads, closed down a lot of these churches here in about 1540, at the beginning of the Reformation. But in the 19th century, the orders like the Dominicans, the Franciscans, they all came back and they set up once again. And this friary actually is shaped like a bell tower that you would find in Italy, in northern Italy, like in Florence, and so on and so forth. Beautiful place, guys. So now where we're going to head into the oldest quarter of Waterford City, the Viking Quarter. Well, guys, we're now coming into the oldest quarter of Waterford City, called the Viking Quarter. The reason why is because the Vikings founded the city in this area. As you can see in front of me there is the bishop's house, built by the Anglican bishop, Bishop Foy, sometime around 1740. It's currently getting refurbished at the moment. Yeah. And that in front of me, guys, is Christ Church Cathedral. Perhaps the most well-known landmark of Waterford. What it is basically, it's another Anglican cathedral here. And this cathedral was built in 1779 by a local architect by the name of John Roberts. And it was built on the site of a church that was built in the late 11th century AD. And by all accounts, the original church was beautiful. And they pulled down the Nortman church and they built that. Well, normally I don't approve of it, but this is actually quite an amazing church, a fine example of 18th century architecture. So anyway, let's go inside and let's check it out. Well, here it is, guys. This is the Christ Church Cathedral, the Anglican cathedral here in Waterford. altar, and there is where the vicar goes up to give his sermon every Sunday at 10 a.m. Waterford is a predominantly Catholic city, but there is a sizable Protestant community here in the city. As I mentioned, the original church was built by the Vikings in 1096, and this is how it looked before it was torn down in the 18th century. It was 1773 demolished, and the current one was built in 1779, and there is the original foundation, one of the pillars in the church. Yeah. And that is a model of what the original church looked like before it was demolished in 1773. But yeah. There's some tombs here, some knights. The warrior's tomb. From the 16th century. Think of all the people who worshipped here. Wow. And this is a tomb of one of the bishops here, Joseph Stock. So, his grace is buried here. He died in August 14th, 1813. It's another tomb, black marble, 1707. In late summer 1169, on the invitation and permission of Pope Adrian IV, the Normans, under the command of Strongbow from Wales, landed an army here. Landed an army in Bannow Bay in County Wexford. And in August 1170, they reached Waterford here. And after a siege, a major battle, Strongbow married Aoife, who was the daughter of the deposed King of Leinster. And they got married right here at this church. Waterford has some fine examples of Georgian architecture. Now, when we mention Georgian, we don't mean the country of Georgia or the US state of Georgia, but instead refers to the period in our history when we're part of the UK, when we were ruled by the Hanoverian dynasty, King George the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And these buildings obviously refer to a time when they were built in the mid 18th century, and these houses were built by prosperous merchants. Waterford was once a very, very rich and wealthy city, and it became quite wealthy due to the maritime trade that came from its connections with England, especially ports like Bristol. And as you can see, this is an example of a Georgian house. The maids, servants lived in the basement, and as you went up, the windows got narrower, and the reason why is because after the first floor, they imposed a window tax, and so that's why you have the windows are shorter as you go up. Oh, you learn something new every day, don't you? Anybody fancy a game of chess? Pawn first move. That in front of me, guys, is the famous Reginald's Tower, built in 1003 by the Northmen. And Waterford, because of this, is the oldest city in Ireland. Check that out. The famous Reginald's Tower. I don't know if you can see up above, but there's a cannonball stuck up there somewhere from one of the sieges of Waterford. Took place in 1649, 1650, and there were a number of sieges of Waterford, the last of which took place in July 1922 during the Civil War. Just want to show you something here. This is an exact replica of a Viking longboat, and it says Waterford, Waterford. It's actually Danish, by the way. There you go. So according to this plaque, King Richard II of England landed at this quay in 1394 at the head of the largest armada ever to sail into an Irish port. And he went to Jordan's Bar for a couple of bottles. Bit of work going on in the background there, guys, but this pub has a very, very famous story. It was owned by a guy called Thomas Marr, and back in the day he did not allow women inside this pub, and he only served, I think it was Beamish. But anyway, that was him, Thomas Marr. Absolute legend. Well guys, let's leave it at that for today. So, hope you liked my little tour of my hometown of Waterford. So that is it, guys, from the sunny southeast. It's absolutely fantastic here on the quayside, next to the river shore, the main river that provided so much wealth and prosperity to the city that I call home. That's it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. So from Waterford, the southeast coast, it is Slonga Fall, agus tógad bugé.